Welcome back, folks. This is Everyone Loves Pirates, and we're here with Red Talon.
Hey, how you doing?
And we're just continuing on with our multiplayer survival series of Space Engineers. And I am building a grinder slash, what's the other thing? Welder. Yes. And Red Talon has just finished off his mining ship last episode because he
I'm testing the pooper.
Liked to make it melt itself or something.
Yeah. And the pooper is functional, so now we can actually offload the stuff.
There we go.
Should probably put a light on the bottom just so I can line it up better.
You should. Lights are awesome.
Oh yeah.
Especially underneath. Okay, so I need everything. We need to just always have construction components going in the front.
Oh yeah, pretty much everything uses either construction component or steel plates, so it's good to have plenty of each. Good thing is when we have the welder-grinder combo, it's gonna have plenty of space because, you know, we're gonna put plenty of the cargo containers on it, and then we won't really have to keep going back and forth. Everything will just be in there.
True.
So whenever I have a grinder or welder or drill, I always put just a medium cargo container behind it because it takes up, you know, the same 3x3 space. So essentially everything always has a medium cargo container on it. So that's what I do, and just to make sure I have plenty of space. I don't know what you're actually planning on doing.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
I basically said, yeah, I've noticed whenever we're playing things, if I explain something to him, he'll be concentrating and he won't hear what I said.
I heard a lot about medium cargo containers, but I wasn't expecting a question.
Just come up here real quick and I'll just explain it.
Okay.
Pretty better. So whenever I make anything with drills or welders or grinders, directly behind it, I'll connect it with these medium cargo containers because it takes up the same amount of space, you know, like 3x3.
Yeah.
So that's what I do, and it always has plenty of space, so I usually don't even need to put more cargo containers on it. And I don't know if that's what you were gonna do or if you were just gonna do something else, but just thought it'd be good to let you know that's usually how I do it, because that's usually what works for me.
Yep, and that's actually what I did end up doing over here as well.
Yeah, because the good thing is they have I'm trying to think. They have the big the big conveyor things on the front and the back, which just directly connects to everything pretty well.
If they had them on the top and the bottom, I wouldn't need all these stupid conveyors either.
Yeah, it can be kind of frustrating.
It's the only thing I don't like about the mediums. That's why I do end up usually putting like one large one on my small ships. But I don't know. Today I'm just not really spatially aware, apparently, because I couldn't make it work.
The good thing is that you can actually put welders and grinders on big ships. Just the thing about that is, big ships are so big and unwieldy. I don't know if you'd ever weld anything with them, but you could basically just have a junker that just, you know, eats other ships. Or usually well, I've never made one, but I like the idea of it, is just having on a station, having just a field of grinders sticking straight up and just have them be turned on just you know, automatically, and then just basically push ships into them, and it just eats the ships, either by putting a artificial mass on it or just actually flying it into it. And it's pretty, I've done it in creative just to see how it works, and it's actually extremely fast, and actually it looks pretty sweet.
Cool. Yeah, I've done I've tried to grind a ship once before, and it was just an open space, and it was a disaster. Because once you go through the thrusters, or, you know, the power source, or...
Worst thing to hit is the gyroscope, because
or gyroscope.
Try to grind it, and it'll push it, and you'll try to catch it, and it'll keep pushing it, it'll just spin around and actually blow your ship up when it comes back.
So, unless you prefer otherwise, I'm feeling like the grinders ought to be on the bottom row.
Whatever you do, I'll be satisfied with, as long as it works.
Oh, whoa, come on. One thing at a time. No promises about anything working here. Okay. So once again, those are connected top to bottom. Those are connected into those. That's connected into that. And how did we want to load this up with stuff? I'm thinking like an actual real connector, so we don't have to poop stuff. We just connect it and then move it immediately.
Yeah, definitely. The only reason I didn't put it on the drill is because it's the ejector is for drill ships. It just saves a lot of space. The connector, you gotta be careful where you put it though, because it only has the one large conveyor thing on it, so you just gotta plan carefully, and also make sure it's not near any thrusters.
That is the difficult part, especially with these stupid things, the way they work. Oh, like, give me a conveyor that doesn't have these little 3 tiny things. I just want all big connections.
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating.
So, well, I guess technically those are connected now, and they're going the right direction. So I could have it come off the front, which would be interesting. We just have to do that last. Anyways, whatever I do, I'll do it last. Now we need cockpit. I wonder how far forward this cockpit ought to be.
I haven't really found any good way to do it. I always have to do this all in third person because I can never see properly. Okay, so
like, it'd be interesting to put it like all the way up front, like driving a minivan.
Well, then you'd bump into whatever you're trying to grind.
Well, I mean, not like all the way up front, not right on the top, but like on top of the part. Oh, so you can't see anything, like there.
Yeah, you would still kind of bump into stuff because you're probably going to actually dig into the ship a bit at certain points. So you've got the
well, they are on the bottom.
You have grinder on the bottom and the welder on top.
Kind of be like, I was thinking like coming in from the top and just kind of like, instead of moving in, just tilting the ship down into whatever is being grinded. At least that's what I've kind of grinded in the past.
Actually, I think, since you haven't built it yet, it might be better to do it the other way. That's usually what I do.
Hey, I asked.
Did you?
I did. You said any way you want to do it, as long as it works when you're done.
Well, I didn't know that's what you were referring to. I thought you meant just like any, like just physical, or not physical, like aesthetic things. Let me just explain why.
I asked if you wanted the grinders on the bottom or the welders on the bottom.
Okay, well, let me explain why I think it's better the other way around. Grinders are better on top because usually your cockpit's on top of your ship, so you'll actually be able to see pretty clearly what you're grinding into. And welders are better on the bottom because usually when I weld things, I'm doing this. I'm just pushing into the ground.
Oh, okay.
So I can see, like, I can still see what I'm doing, and I'm just pushing against the ship. And if you put the grinders on the bottom, that's going to be what's actually connecting with the station. And if you do the welders, you're going to have to do this, where you're just directly 90 degrees away from whatever you're trying to grind and weld. You know what I mean?
There, fixed it.
Yeah. Or you could just,
No one said there was a top or bottom to this thing yet.
You could do the train thing and just have one on each side, and just switch for whatever the situation needs.
No, that's fine. That makes sense.
I actually do want to try one on back and one on bottom. Actually, I think it would be pretty efficient. It's just it would probably be pretty big, and I'd have to experiment. So I don't want to do that till we're actually good to go. I don't want to use up too many parts.
Yeah.
So looks like
who doesn't pay attention now?
Oh, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Yeah.
So, ejector. 50% of the time, I forget that I leave the throw out option on, so I always put it in its own little group at top, so I can remember to turn it on and off.
You always put what in its own group?
The ejector. I always forget that I have the throw out option turned on, so as soon as I'll actually I'll be like drilling things for about 5 minutes and go back to drop it off and realize all of the cargo just got spit out on the way back.
Well, at least, yeah, I've done that with miners a lot. I'll start mining and it's just pooping it all out underneath me as I mine it.
Yeah, I like the connector now because you don't even need to have the throw it option. You just connect them.
Yeah, I found now that like if you play survival with like the max kind of, in easy mode with the max inventory and all that, if you just hit collect all, it like instantly immediately collects all. So I just turn it on for a second, then I turn it off, and that way, even if I do leave the pooping on, it's not collecting it as well and pooping it out. It's just pooping out nothing.
Also, for some reason, the ore detector doesn't seem to be... Oh, yeah. I forgot I actually moved it, so I gotta put it back in. Because I haven't used a drill since I had to redesign it. So I'll just go ahead and do that real quick. The antenna has a function now, if you didn't know.
I did know. Yeah, I saw that in the latest update. But if you want to explain it to our viewers, go right ahead.
Okay. It's not really for communication or anything, but now if your ship has an antenna on it, there's an option in the control panel that says show in HUD for basically any part that shows up in the control panel, like anything with a computer in it. And it essentially just makes a mini beacon on your ship showing exactly where that part is. And it's not too helpful, but if you have like a part that's broken or you need to find a specific thing, that's kind of helpful.
Yeah, one thing it could be helpful on if you're, of course they kind of messed up all that stuff too, but if you're pirating ships, you go snagging some of these ships that are out there flying around. You know, some of them had booby traps on them, and that way you could... I had a very kind of tedious, time-consuming way of trying to find out where the booby traps were by counting the number of thrusters, because the booby traps are usually thrusters pointed at explosives or the cockpit. But now you could just put have the antenna and have it tell you where the thrusters are, and if you see one in the middle of the ship, then you know it's probably pointed at explosives.
That's kind of good. The only problem with that is you are kind of on a time limit, because even if you're... it's kind of weird with cargo ships, because you know how they have a 10-minute time limit? Even if you are on it, they'll still disappear.
Oh,
they have to stop, because once they get to a certain point, they will disappear. And I've had that happen on me. Because I've actually been exploring... I got the... Just because... recently, when I was playing in creative, because they turned off the hostilities on the ships, I just, was looking around on some of the ones I hadn't seen in a while. So I got the biggest one, like the big military one, and I actually couldn't find a cockpit, and it took me about 10 minutes to get to it, and the ship disappeared as I was on it. Yeah, so that's the only problem with that. You would have to make sure you had the materials with you, or know what you would need to grind down to get it. Yeah. I know you need detector components, which are only on beacons or already on antennas, so yeah, you'd have to be prepared.
That's probably overkill. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, they're pretty cheap, right? Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I agree.
Well, I was trying to determine how many reactors I wanted on the ship, and building them all around a little tiny conveyor block.
I usually just do one on left and one on right, and then I'll just stack it if I need to. Just so I have like room behind, or like in front and behind of it, so I can connect it with conveyors to other things. It seems to work out fine for me.
We have reactor components. We do.
Yeah, I made a couple because I had
all
to make
mine.
You only need one of each, so you should. It's not even expensive. You can just make as many as you need. I just don't recommend building a big one on a small ship, just because if you don't have enough space to surround it with blocks, if it gets touched by anything, it explodes and your ship just drifts into space.
Yeah, I've tried doing it before, and yeah, it did not go well for me either. Large tubes.
I love the funky blue light on the bottom of the driller.
The driller?
Yeah,
Where are you? Oh, there you go.
Clown frog.
That's funny. I always do like a blue light pointing down on mine too. It's like the one that's easiest to see.
Yeah, it's basically like the most unique color that you don't really see in other lights. So it's easy to see.
Oh, I hate not grabbing everything I need. I tried to leave stuff behind for you.
You don't need to. You don't need to right
something.
now. Oh, you don't need to right now because I'm not actually building anything. Just You know, we're not even
okay.
going to build anything until you're done with that. So, and when you're done with that, that's going to be our. That's basically going to be our go-to place to put everything. So, just basically take everything you need and then just put it in the ship when you're done.
I also don't want to like die and have like everything we own on me.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, my life support systems are at 15%.
We could always save scum.
Never.
Suddenly, meteors come and kill us all.
Yeah.
You were saying.
Maybe if meteors come.
That would make it a lot more interesting though when we actually do put them in.
Yeah. I mean,
It does
it
make
would be
everything much more fun.
kind of interesting to try to build like without any defenses while meteors were coming.
Well, if you were building without any defenses, you'd get hit.
Yeah.
You need to at least have something, because
You said they seek you now, right?
they've always seeked you. They
Or-
only come after your blocks, because that's what they target. Because if they were just everywhere, it would
Well,
it would lag your machine out.
Do they seek like your person as well, or just the blocks?
Well, since they don't move, like they don't home in on anything, they wouldn't actually be able to hit you. So no, they don't target you. They just target anything you've built. But they do basically, unless it's thick armor, it will just one hit destroy anything you've built. So you got to be careful. But yeah, it makes things more interesting, and you know it's always fun to get all that extra gold and stuff from when they actually hit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the most fun is not just building in the open. It's building in concealed areas and then actually coming out into the open for when you need things. Like I like building in the shade or building inside of a cave because then they're always trying to hit you and they never get to you. It just feels kind of nice. Like you've
Booming
beat
going on
nature.
all around you while you're underground.
Don't mind the explosions. We're over here designing these tables. Speaking of which, please add furniture soon.
I was gonna say, do you design a lot of tables?
I designed giant tables because that's all you can do in this game right now. People have made like modded ones, but mods are not stable at all in this game. Like I've never gotten any to work because the games, even though the large updates happen once a week, they do have small updates usually, like in the middle of the week for just some simple fixes. So I never even really bother with the mods because they literally will only work for a day.
Yep, I never really bother with mods until something's stable either.
They might
They're
maybe
more
make-
hacks at that point.
Yeah, they might make a stable modding thing later, but they're they have their own priorities right now, which I'm entirely fine with because they're doing a great job with it. Yeah, furniture. I am extremely huge into town building and house designing and architecture and stuff like that because like the game I've probably played the most in my life is The Sims 3.
Okay.
Even though I hate EA, I am addicted to that game.
Yeah, I hate EA as well. That was before they turned into their horrible, horrible selves. Or
Actually, it was
well, The
kinda
Sims was,
like right one.
but maybe not Sims 3. I never played any of them. Actually, I played one of them once for like an hour or two.
Sims 1 actually holds up really well still. It's still essentially the same game, just it looks better. Yeah, I love town building. Like Banished is currently my most played game like this past week besides this game and Mountain Blade.
Yeah, Banish is great. I can't wait until the updates come for that, the modding.
I forget, did you say that was made by one guy too?
Yep, single guy.
That's-
Shining Rock Software, I think he is.
Extremely impressive.
Yeah. Like, I put a lot of hours in that game. My Steam doesn't show a lot of it because I ended up downloading, I bought it. I kind of forget how it worked, but somehow there was like another option. I can run the 64-bit EXE. Maybe I got through the Humble store or something.
Like it didn't, like it was on something else and then you got Steam keys for it?
Yeah, so,
Yeah, I know.
but like,
I've had that.
you had to run the 64-bit EXE through, like, outside of Steam. I think is what it was, at least at the start. So I was running that, and I don't know, I like to record with Steam off if I can help it, for lots of reasons. Mainly just because I never really bothered upgrading the RAM in this machine, so
Nah.
the less memory I use, the better. It's only got 4 gigs in it.
Jeez.
Yeah, right?
Mine had 16.
Yeah,
And,
like, normally I do,
was plenty.
but I just didn't really need to, so I never did.
Well, that's the thing about modifying PCs. You don't do what you need. You do what you can.
Yeah. I've definitely done it in the past.
You gotta win.
Way back in the day, I was running ultra-wide SCSI 3, you know, hard drives that cost like, you know, $900 a piece retail, and
Jeez.
it's ridiculous, like trying to get every little bit, overclocking, you know. Yeah, have like 20 fans in a PC with the optimal fan airflow going through, and it's ridiculous stuff.
The
last
craziest
computer,
thing is,
I just bought a super cheap one online, outlet, Lenovo outlet, just because it was like it's $250, and the Windows license for Windows 7 alone was over 100. I was like, oh, I'll just do that, and I'll use the license on, you know, I'll upgrade. I'll basically just use it for the license and, you know, another case and, you know, some other stuff. Turn the crappy components into a server or something. And I just kept on using it because it played all the games I needed it to with a decent graphics card in it.
That's nice. I have plenty of spare parts and laptops and stuff. I actually bought a computer custom made for like $1,000, but it actually turned out some of the parts were incompatible, so I actually just had to scrap it and just essentially use half of it in my older computer. And I've seen some people get pretty extreme, like there's computers that are actually cooled by water. Like they just have water tanks inside of them, and I would never trust that.
No, and technically, I used to kind of be big into the overclocking scene. This was a long time ago, but and I was thinking about doing that kind of stuff and never quite committed that much. But like technically, you can run a computer completely submerged in water if it's distilled.
All right.
I think it was specifically distilled water. Didn't have enough conductivity to because it had no minerals or anything in it.
Yeah, I know, because I know with like when you're actually like trying to modify your PC, I remember the first thing I was told was the static electricity in your hand can just destroy the computer if you're not careful. And I just thought, if that was in water, what would that do?
Yeah. But people use like mineral oil and other stuff. I mean, you don't have to use water even in the water cooling setups, but
I'm just gonna put mine in the bathtub.
Yeah. It's doable. I ran open air PCs for a long time, just a motherboard sitting on top of like a box with hard drives hanging off of it.
Okay, well, you want to throw your PC in a laptop. The good news is you can do it. Bad news is I doubt it would work.
Yeah.
You can do anything you want. It's just the consequences that matter.
Yeah, this thing is an ugly monstrosity, man. I'm gonna have to...
It'll fit right in.
Yeah. And actually, since we went a little long last time, this might not be a bad place to end on this episode.
Okay.
How have you been doing? You've been mining stuff and dropping it off and all that kind of deal?
I've essentially just been trying to find whichever materials were low on one-on-one, so I just found a reserve of cobalt, and I'm going after it now.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even see you anymore. So, well, there we go. This is the end of the episode. This is my base right now. Nobody else is here. I could do whatever I want.
What was that?
Anyways, thanks for watching,
I'm coming toward the base extremely fast. If you don't mind.
No. Everything is perfectly. Oh.
Why does everything say pirates rule? Who
Yeah,
did this?
No, I actually just looked, and I don't have access to the beacon.
Oh, okay. I'll make sure to set everything.
Which is apparently named Bacon.
Yeah.
So, I was going to mess with the bacon, but nah, I can't.
Nobody touch my bacon.
Yeah. So, yeah, next episode, I think this ship will be at least functional, if not pretty. Okay, it certainly will not be pretty, but it'll be a cube that functions, apparently. And I think we'll maybe start laying out the wireframe, the bare bones of our giant ship, huh?
Yep.
I don't know, it sounds like a good goal, at least.
Yep. Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks for watching, folks. Once again, we love to hear your comments. Feel free to put them in there. I promise Red Talon will come by occasionally and respond to them as well.
Don't you tell me what to do.
Yeah, I mean, I may be a damn liar, but I'll promise it anyways. You can promise anything.
Oh, yeah.
Great look at a T-bone by sticking your head up a butcher's... I don't know how that goes. Anyways. Oh, son of a... Anyways, yeah. But, yeah, you have anything to say? As I ramble?
No, I'm just going to keep doing this.
Stammer? Oh, no.
It says
I
player...
just lost connection with server.
Well, I'm still here, so I'll just go ahead and save it, and when we're on the next episode, everything will be back to normal.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, thanks for watching, folks, and I hopefully will see you next episode if I can get back.
Yep.
Bye.
See you.